Hi guys. Okay, so I'm going to go through the review here. You can pause this at any time and try it by yourself, but I'm just going to go through it in case anybody has any questions. So do it how you would like to. Go ahead, put your name, the date, and your period here. All right, so 14.1, distance in the coordinate plane. Number 1, reflect A across the x-axis. All right, so here's my A, here's my x-axis, right? Going horizontal. So remember, when it tells you to reflect across a certain axis, you're starting here at A, you have to go across the x-axis. You have to cross over. So since my A is at basically -2 here, I go in a straight line up, and I'm going to go to +2. Okay, so that's reflected across the x-axis, and I'm going to label that N. It says label the reflection as N and give its coordinates on the graph. So my coordinates would be -1, -2, -3, and then up 2. So my coordinates are -3, 2. All right, so that's 1. 2, reflect B across the x-axis. Label the reflection as M and give its coordinates on the graph. So here's my B. If I reflect it across the x-axis, once again I have to cross over the x-axis. Okay, so I'm going down across the x-axis. Since this is 2 above the x-axis, I need to go 2 below the x-axis, and I'm going to label that point M. Okay, now what would be my coordinates here? 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's -2. So my coordinates would be 4, -2. All right. Now the distance between A and N. All right, what's the distance between here and here? Well, this is at -2. This is at +2, right? So once again, you're basically finding the absolute value. So it takes 2 to get to here, 2 to get to here. That's a total distance of 4 units. All right, number 4. Suppose the graph represents a map in which each grid unit is equal to 1 mile. If a cafe is located at B, okay, so we could label this cafe, and a gym is located at N, okay, so this is my gym. What is the distance between the cafe and the gym? All right, so moving from here to here, I'm moving along basically the x-axis, right? So I want to think about my x values. This is at -3 on the x values. So from here to the y-axis, I want to go from here to here. My distance from N to the y-axis is 3. Okay, you can count across 1, 2, 3, right? So basically you have to think about a line here going across. And I go across from N, it takes me 3 to get to here. And then how many more am I at right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the cafe is at 4 past the y-axis over here. So I have a total of 3 and 4, which would be 7 miles. Okay, so that number 4 is 7 miles. All right. Remember, guys, if they want you to reflect something across the y-axis, that would be, if I wanted to reflect, for instance, A across the y-axis, I'd have to pass over the y-axis, and it would have to be 1, 2, 3 away. So it'd be over here, 3 away from the y-axis for the reflection for A across the y-axis. Okay? Whatever one it tells you to reflect across, you cross over that one. Okay. Number 5, find the coordinates of the point for each reflection. All right? Now, what I would do on the test, guys, they're going to give you a little coordinate plane up here. I would go ahead and plot this -4, 3. Okay? So let's go to -4, 3. -1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1, 2, 3. My point would be like right here. Okay? Now they want you to give the coordinates of the point across the x-axis. So if this point is at -4, 3, okay, we could put -4, 3. Where is that going to be across the x-axis? Well, it's 3 above the x-axis, right? So I need to go 3 below the x-axis. 1, 2, 3. My reflection would be right here. Okay? So this would be my reflection. So what are my coordinates here? Well, I still went back 4, so it's -4. And what's my y value? Well, since this was 3 away from the x-axis, this is 3 away. So that has to be -4, 3. So my coordinates would be -4, -3. All right? Now, let's change 3.5. We're just going to cross that out here. We're just going to put 4, 3, okay? All right. So 4, 3, you go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 3. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be up here above the cafe. It's going to be this point right here. And this was 4, 3. All right? They want you to reflect it across the y-axis. So this is my y-axis going up and down. I have to cross over. So since I'm out here at 4, I have to go like on a line here, and I need to go out 4 from there. So I'm kind of getting a lot of dots here, but this would be my point. What would this be? This would be -1, 2, 3, 4, -4, 3. Okay? All right. So let me know if you guys have any questions about how we got into these answers so far. Okay, so now I want to find the distance between each pair of points. Okay? So, once again, I would use this coordinate plane up here, or even draw out a little coordinate plane. Okay? So, basically, if I drew out a little coordinate plane, and I did 2, 3, so I go over 1, 2, and up 1, 2, 3, my dot's there. And then if I go over 2, 1, 2, and down 3, 1, 2, 3, my dot's there. Okay? How far are those away from each other? Well, this is -3 for my y value, so it's basically up to here would be 3, and up to there would be 3 more, so it's 3 plus 3, 6 units. Okay? Same thing for this one. Draw out a little coordinate plane, or you could use the one up here, but I'm going to -4, 6, so back 1, 2, 3, 4, and +6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? My dot's right here. And then -1, 6. So back 1 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's a -1, 6. How far are those apart from each other? Well, -4 is right here, -4, 6 is here. So from here to here, I'm going from -4 to -1, right? So from -4 to -1, if you count over 1, 2, 3, it's 3 units away. All right. Number 9. On the coordinate plane shown, each grid unit represents 10 feet. So on this coordinate plane, they're counting by 10. So I got 10, 20, 30, 40. You have to notice that when you're looking at the coordinate planes, sometimes they're going to count by 1, sometimes they'll count by 5, sometimes they'll count by 10. You just have to pay attention to what numbers they're using. So each grid unit represents 10 feet. Polygon QRST has vertices. Okay, remember vertices are where the corners are on the shape of QRST. All right, so just like the scavenger hunt we did in class, you got to plot these. So the first one, 10, 20. Over 10 and up, remember you're counting by 10, so 10, 20. There's where Q would be. Okay? R, negative 10, 20. So here's negative 10 and up 20. That's R. S, negative 10, negative 10. Back 10, down 10. What's that, guys? I got the janitor coming in. That's S. Hi.
Hi.
Could you come back maybe about
Okay, no
15
problem.
minutes? I'm doing a... Okay, guys.
So there's S, that's a negative 10, negative 10. I had to send the janitor away for a minute so I could keep going here. And then T would be 10, negative 10. So 10, negative 10 would be right here. And this would be my coordinate T. Alright, so here's my shape right here. Okay, a rectangle. Now, it says find the perimeter and the area of the room. So remember, per perimeter, you're adding up all the side lengths, okay? So if I go ahead and do that, remember I'm counting by 10, 10 from each spot that I move is 10, 10, 20, 30. So this side length is 30, this side length is 30, and this is 2 units, so that's 20 basically. So that's 20 and this is 20. So 20 and 20 is 40, 30, 30 is 60, 60 plus 40 is equal to 100. So that's 100, and they're saying all these are feet. Okay, so 100 feet. Now for area, remember area is, for a rectangle, is the length times the width. You could call either one of these the length and the width, but it's 30 times 20. So if you do 30 times 20, you can just do 2 times 3 is 6 and add 2 zeros, and you got your 600 feet. Remember, area has to be squared. Okay, so here's my 2 answers that they're looking for. Okay? All right. Number 10, we're going to skip that because on the test you guys are not going to do that question that's always at the bottom there. All right. Now, we're also going to do a vocab part. Now, what I'm going to show you is exactly what you're going to see on the test, so pay attention. Now, you're going to have the words up at the top. You're going to have to figure out what goes into each one of these blanks, okay? So, this is exactly what you're going to see on the test, guys. So everybody should get 100% on this. All right. The distance of a number from 0 on a number line. Remember, we're talking about these 2 bars here represent what? Absolute value. Absolute value is always what? Positive, right? So this is absolute value. Okay. On an angle or a polygon, the point where 2 sides intersect. Okay, so they drew an angle here. If I connected those 2 points, that's a triangle right here. So these points they're talking about where the shape intersects, or they could say it's on an angle as well. We're talking about what? We're talking about the vertex or the vertices. The corner of the shape, basically. Vertices, vertex. Okay? A closed plane figure, so as you go, I would cross these out here, guys. So, absolute value, okay, vertex and vertices. Number 3, a closed plane figure formed by 3 or more line segments that intersect only at their endpoints. Okay? Remember, if a shape that has 3 or more sides to it, we're talking about a polygon. Okay? So that's polygon. Number 4, the number of square units. Okay, that's your key there, square units. Anything square units needed to cover a given surface. Square units, we're talking about area. Okay, so that's area. Okay,
The distance around a polygon. The distance you travel around a shape, we're talking about perimeter. Number 6, two perpendicular lines of a coordinate plane that intersect at the origin. Okay? So the two perpendicular lines, we're talking about what? These lines right here, what are those called? The axis. Alright. Number 7, a transformation of a figure that flips the figure across the line. How an image would appear in a mirror. Alright, so these two things, imagine if you're standing on the edge of a lake, if this was the water, this over here is called what? The reflection. Okay? Reflection. So we got reflection. Number 8, we already know what it is by process of elimination, but a plane formed by the intersection of a horizontal number line called the x-axis, okay, x-axis going across, and a vertical number line called the y-axis. What's this called? It's called the coordinate plane. Okay, so I know you guys don't have this sheet of paper, but this is what you're going to see on the test for your vocab part of the test. So you can watch this video a few times here, go over this again, or just kind of study it here on your screen if you want to pause it for a second and read over it again a few times. Okay, but that's what you're going to see. All right, thanks for listening, guys.